Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winter.
What up, what up? How you guys doing? This is the upgraded Real Nomics set. Hope you guys are doing good this morning. I saw a question about the USD CHF right off the bat. Where you at? Where you at? Shout out to Biggie Smalls if you're in here this morning. Let's see. Balvini, what up? A couple of my homies in here, look at that. Alright, let's see what you guys got. So, if you guys kept up with the last show, move it up, move it down. So a lot of things popped off from the last show, right? We went to earnings and we told you guys there was a good chance with COVID, a lot of the earnings would be reduced, which will allow for the upside surprise on reduced earnings, which just fucking happened like crazy, right? Amazon, Apple, all those guys blew out their earnings while everyone's expecting the worst from COVID. So, you know, it's about perception arbitrage, and they lowered their perception and then blew it away. So, appreciate the compliments. Yep. Shout out to Biggie Smalls for keeping Kazo fashionable in his old age. So yeah, I saw some of you guys play that. I saw some people got lucky and got into Apple. You know, when you guys see stuff on the show, make sure you're paying attention to whether or not something has earnings coming up. Some of you accidentally survived by the good graces, you know, and good TA, UPS, FedEx, Apple, without necessarily being aware. You know, you're in front of earnings related movement. UPS kind of dragged FedEx around. Don't meander blindly into earnings. You can fucking get your account crushed. So I saw a lot of you hit it. If you plan for it, awesome. If you accidentally found yourself there because it was mentioned and you just decided to FOMO it, not awesome. You got lucky, and that can reinforce a really bad behavior and get you killed the next time around. You're not as lucky. So make sure you have a plan. If you do play things like that, earnings are extremely, violent, especially in the VIX environment you're in, and a lot of the unknowns that are out there. You can get fucked up. So caution is always advised. So without further ado, what else do you guys got popping? What other questions do we have? Let's see. Let's see. Yo, Kaz, what? Can I look at space again? I can. Kaz, is that what I think it is? That's right. Yeah. See, somebody got it. That's the Nomics, right? That's the logo. Cool. Well, at least that was recognizable. If you knew what level of catastrophe it was for that to get that up there, it took 3 of us. I might know some chart patterns, but I can't fix a fucking ham sandwich. I'm about fucking useless. Ivy, what are you doing? All right, let's see. Any other questions up above? Just see a USD CHF question, a space question. Don't see anything else there. All right, so we'll take a look at those. Not a lot of questions on anything. So did you guys kill it this week? It's a fucking good week, right? Take a look at DraftKings. Yep, keep that on the radar. So got started before 8 o'clock. Got my whole hour to fuck off with. Let's see here. So I'm just enjoying my set right now. You know, hope you're enjoying it with me. But yeah, Apple earnings play was easiest. Yep, the whole planet's online. Apple, you know, right now Buffett looks like a genius, right? Do I think this can get to 21? It could or it couldn't. We just look at it and evolve it. Saying that it can or it can't doesn't mean much. I project what I see and I'll let you know. We'll evolve the VIX chart today and see where he is now. Should gap down with what futures are doing overnight. So let's peep it. Let's see what's going on. Let's move over to the screen. SWKS is good, right? I saw you guys play some semis. There was a lot of good semis in there. Let's go to that one. All right. Do front shot. We use it. We'll leave the Nomics.eth for the home screen. So okay. We got here. PT will close this up for a bit. So this is Apple. Apple. Whoops, that's probably stupid. Apple pre-market. You see him right now. He hit his earnings last night. So we showed you this, right? He dumped onto the previous shockwave we'd outlined, and he's trapped in this range. And we said like he came out of this. He came out in a move below this range that we outlined, and then whipped into this and came back and was stick technically in a bull flag, which he's now catapulted through, and he's now sitting at 411. So he's off the screen literally. This is 410 up there. So he's literally catapulted off the screen. And this is why you don't bet against trends, right? They can keep getting higher and higher and higher. You just have to look for your corrector structures and then find a way into it. This guy obviously didn't even entry through the bull flag. You have to have entered somewhere in the recoil here at a lower res intraday, like some of the guys that I saw play it did. I didn't find my way into this one either, but this was a monster. So if you guys caught that, fucking awesome. Another guy who benefited, we said this is a no-brainer, right? Shopify and Amazon, what are all of you doing? And their conference call, they said it, right? They said that exactly this. The trends to move towards purchasing shit that you normally wouldn't have online, like, is moved and could, like, stay that way. People are cool ordering groceries. People are cool ordering, like, you know, all kinds of shit that wasn't just, like, the electronics and things you want online, like, everything. And the longer this COVID thing lasts, is the longer like behavioral trends change towards some of these antisocial components that very well may replace some of the social components. So this is Amazon, and he is what, 32. So he is breaking just out of this like wedge structure I drew, like a possible structure. So he's not like really clear of this thing by any means. Not like Apple is, but he's up there. Facebook also had good earnings today, Jackson. And he's pushing 250. So 3 members of FANG or Moon. I believe Google had some not so good numbers. We'll look at him in a second. What are you twitching down there for? What is going on with you? Are you messing with my wires? Fucking crazy cat. So that was Facebook shockwave, real tight at the highs. We talk about how you go through highs, right? You generally go through the high, get a dump move, fuck everybody up, and then boom, right? And so Facebook is going to open now at 250. Oh, he's on this. I gotta turn that thing off. Such a good song, though. I love it. 250 is right at the wick. So he's going to open. We're actually right at his all-time high. Like just about a buck over. Not like blowing out like Apple. With big gaps like this, you got to be careful of the gap and fade, where you fade into the gap. You can see that in a gap this big in some of these guys. Take a breather into the session and then be able to push later on. So the gap is too big, you know. Gap and runs are kind of like not as common. Apple's gap is ridiculous. So, you know, being the size company is, to see them hold and sustain it, you know, if you're going to play like bull moves into this, you probably don't want to see Apple give up the ghost on the opening and come back through his open. So we'll be watching to see how he does that. Facebook, all these guys, you know, Facebook's opening at close to his all-time high, and Amazon is opening within the congestion of a shockwave. So a little sus on how they open, but, you know, it may take a breather and then be able to push, but you'll have to kind of measure that once it opens and see what it does. Right? Eventually, sometimes you get a gap and a push like this, Other times you can get a gap and a reversal right through the gap like that and then the push. So look for him to sustain the open on a gap this big. It's an excessive gap for a stock the size of Apple. Opening up 7%, to have him push deeper would be more of an anomalous kind of thing. But it doesn't mean it's not possible, but just something to gauge because the market has been pretty strong in other places. Shopify, oops, god damn it, this double key shit. Fucking ridiculous. I gotta get that fixed. Are you serious? It did it again, you motherfucker. This thing is fucking, I know it didn't. It's like, what the hell? So we looked at Shop last time, right? And he's part of the antisocial also. We talked about him, TTV, and Etsy. These guys all benefit from antisocial stuff. So that was him attempting to clear his bull flag. I just drew the circle around that. I don't know why I do such a messy one, but we'll just put him in there. Alright, there's his bull flag, pretty clean. And he's up now 20 points, so he's in a 1060, so he's not clear of it. He's got this big gap, and this is like the danger right now in Apple. So pay attention to how you see this setup is. When you gap like significantly on a company the size of Apple, if he doesn't sustain it, it's fucking danger. You know, you want to see him sustain that and push out, and if you're going to buy a breakaway gap. If he comes through it, you know, he can be up for like half as much for the day and still fuck you up if you go after him on the open. So be very careful of shit like that. I don't want to see anybody get fucking, you know, blasted on the open for Apple. This guy, did I draw that far away? Jesus Christ, that looks terrible. Anyways, yeah. So structurally, this guy is sitting here. He's kind of bull flagging twice, right? He broke a bull flag and he's in another one right now. And you always can, if you're going to draw like by the, okay, so I had some people discussing whether or not, you know, I talked about drawing in the shape of a shockwave. Those lines aren't like hard and fast. But if you're going to draw a downtrend, there's a rule structure to it. In a downtrend, you connect the highest high to the next preceding high that generates the next lowest low. So you don't draw him like, you know, if you see this, a lot of people draw a trend line just because the top connects to something else. You don't just draw this here arbitrarily because he doesn't generate a new low. This high does not generate the next low. This one does. So this guy will get the connection, and you don't pass through prices. So you connect the highest high to the next preceding high without passing through prices is the rule. So when you're drawing in a shockwave, you're kind of just drawing in a shape of the consolidation. You're not actually, those lines aren't like etched in stone, you know, geometrically aligned with price, that you should treat them like, you know, diagonal resistance or whatever. You're looking at them just for shape and location of like a structure. So know the difference in that when we do that on here. So that's why I use the marker to draw that shit, because I'm not being precise, because I'm really just showing you a location. When we want to deal with like precise level breaks, then we draw a line precisely. So from that high on this bull flag, the next high to generate a low that I can hit, I can't get to any of the price without cutting through it, so you don't do it. Wicks are people too, right? Don't ever leave out the wicks. Only retards say that stuff. At any resolution, a wick is something else. Always remember that. When you see people talk about, oh, you gotta cut out the wicks, you know, on a fucking one-day chart, the wicks in 10 minutes could be a fucking, like, a serious story you need to be aware of. You never cut them out. All right, so with Shop, he's gonna gap up into that right now and see if he sustains that, see what the day looks like for him. But these guys, you know, have been working their way up while people have been trying to figure out if this is going to die, this is going to die, this is going to die. And like I told you, after the Spanish flu, the fucking market goes absolutely fucking crazy. What is that thing doing? So, come back and check your questions. So, a couple guys to check up on it. We talked about, oh, the semis too. Somebody said SWKS, you played that? Good shit. There's a couple good semis. SWKS was one we talked about. Somebody had mentioned that. And he finished off really good. There's what we drew last time on him. Let me back up a time frame. I don't know what time frame I drew that. I was in a daily. Yeah, I guess so. Something like that. Alright, and there's the steps for him in the bull flag, and we can see that in the SMH. You know, SMH is chopping a good level too. AMD, I saw somebody play that. We know we looked at this already. He's totally ridiculous. But semis look good, and somebody had been asking me, what do you think are going to be major industries that surround space cache? Semis are actually going to be it, right? Computers are not going away, and processing power is only going to go literally moon if you're going off the planet. Semis are definitely one. 3D printing, as it gets more advanced, will become one. You know, your aerospace and defense, there are component stocks in there that are going to be key players in space cache. And I plan to do a full show on Spacecast, so I will get more into it at that point. Somebody did ask me space. See, you like that segue? Didn't plan it, but it works. So Space did his shit out of this big old bull flag we talked about. What did we drop here? So last time we drew this guy, what was he doing? Stop moving, you son of a bitch. Stop. All right, let's drop down a time frame here. I got H in the worst place. Shout out to the bits, dude. San Seiko, Philadelphia. Move it up or down. Appreciate you guys. Alright, I've been an hour on space. So, yeah, last time we were here, we were drawing in, I guess, it was 2 days ago. See, we're at 31st, so this is over here. We were in this structure in the pre-market, right? So we're looking at like what he could do. And if this is going to become a potential low to let him go higher. So it didn't become that. You know, evolve your analysis. He's come down. He's now stopped. Has he stopped on this? He's stopped on whoever is in this structure. That's a pretty good place for him. But now we'll just draw in a bigger scale bull flag because that's what he's become. And you would just wait for this guy to clear, you know. Let's see if it's parallel on the bottom or not. Control C and, you know, Control V it. And you can check if he's got like a, you know, he could follow that channel. But all in all, he's kind of got like a pretty clean bull flag shape to him. Oh my god, why is that moving like that? And I would just watch that to clear. He's still okay. It's just a very, very large bull flag. But structurally, you know, again, he did the unveil of his cabin of the spaceship, and I'm a big fan of what Branson's doing with suborbital flights. I told you that would become a thing. You've now seen a new competitor enter the marketplace for suborbital flights, talking about $50,000. Sorry, was it $50,000 per flight cost for the whole plane, which would destroy Branson's pricing power with what he's trying to charge people at $200,000 a person. That guy has margin to cut his fucking balls off. The reveal was definitely not overwhelming. It looked like a glorified Disney World ride, but, you know, it just wasn't what people were expecting. You know, you're strapped into a side-mounted seat and something that's supposed to be doing Mach fucking 5 to 7. Open fucking cockpit, no protections for the pilot. If that thing fucking is gonna fucking crash, there doesn't seem to be any safety system to give a chance to any of the people to survive it. It looked fucking cheap. So let's hope Branson fucking got rebuffed enough on that to go do something and not really make that, like, you know, our first suborbital spaceship. It's ridiculous. But the suborbital idea is still a viable idea, and I think it's, you know, he's in the right space for it. Let's just hope if he's got competition, he's going to have to fucking, you know, do something now that he's not all alone there. But yeah, this structure is pretty much, you know, pretty textbook for what we talk about when we're looking at trend structures. Right there, you get your rising floors. He popped out. He's, you know, broken over the resistance, and he's just flagging right now. He got a wick. See where his wick got to? Got to like this gap. So he deflected off the same place that this high is. So that's really what you're waiting for. He's gonna have to blow his bull flag out, get stable above the gap he rolled off of the gap high, and then somewhere north of like 27, 28, he probably gives you another entry if you don't take the one out of here and goes fucking apeshit. So we'll see, and Mark would have to be doing pretty well too, and some of the space crash components with him, you know, aerospace defense guys and stuff like that. So he's a little bit of wait and see till he gets out of that thing. All right, let me, man, I'd do some shit if I wasn't on the chart screen. Good deal. I do that every once in a while. All right, let's see. All right, let me catch up to what I've missed now for however long here. Qualcomm, I see that. Let me see. Alright, I'm trying to find what I missed. Is the GVX as important to keep track of in regards to gold as watching the VIX is compared to the stock market? That's a great question, Christiel. Not in the same way. It's you know, the volatility of anything is worth watching, and there's volatility on a lot of stuff with NV. Okay, let me actually just read things before I fucking try to answer stuff. Alright. Qualcomm follow through. Can I share a link for Telegram Discord today? Man, I don't know. Once you ask for it, it doesn't feel as special anymore. I might have to make you wait till the next show. We'll see. I'll figure it out by the end of the show. So, Kaz, Head and Shoulders on BTC. Okay, first thing you do, never ever mention that ridiculous pattern in this fucking chat ever again. Last time this happened, CBC tweeted Head and Shoulders price instantly went the opposite, ripped upwards. Why does that happen? Are some crypto players in with CNBC? Really? Do you believe any of these morons in crypto has anything to do with CNBC? You didn't really ask me that, right? You think CNBC really gives a shit about pumping your shitcoins? No. CNBC as a point of information dissemination controls a vast amount of the marketplace. You know, one of the things about what we do, put valuable information in plain sight and have it stay valuable is not exactly easy if you understand what governs value, right? Value is a function of scarcity and utility. So information that you get in a timely fashion that nobody else knows that has high utility is really valuable. The way CNBC is structured makes that an impossibility, right? I'm going to tell any information that I have through a portal that disseminates it instantaneously to 1 million plus people in a second. In a second, all the information is worthless. So you cannot actually disseminate, even if they wanted to tell you something valuable. The simple fact that they control 90% of the investing public means that the bulk of the marketplace gets the intel simultaneously. So it cannot possibly keep one of the main tenets of value, which is scarcity. So it really can't. For that reason, market television doesn't really work the way people think. You know, to do a market show like this on a regular basis, that we maintain the accuracy we do for the show's actually got to be a small scale. It's one of the reasons we do the things we do. We're not really concerned with like the sheer scale of our ecosystem. The smaller it is the more nimble we are in markets. If everybody and their mom said, hey, this guy Kaz has lots of great intel, and all turn this shit on together, we're all fucking dead. Let's just be very clear about that. I look ridiculous in a mask with glowing lights because I don't want most people to take what the fuck I'm talking about, or we can't. So you trust the idiots out there to judge you by your mask and your lights and this and that, and they'll miss a few $1 billion worth of fucking market calls as long as I look ridiculous. That's half the joke, right? Message over messenger. Most people are fucking judgmental sacks of fucking protoplasmic dog shit. They can't do that. They're always busy commenting what you look like, what your skin looks like, what your face looks like, what your suit looks like. Never hear the words coming out of your mouth. This show is done exactly in the way for most of those dummies to stay the fuck away from me. And from all of us, as we look at the markets and need to maintain a scarce viewpoint in a collective system. So, you know, CNBC, it's not that everyone's in with it. It's just that the moment that you disseminate information to a wide body of people, it instantaneously becomes worthless at that moment. That was a long-winded explanation. Is the GVX as important? Yeah, I said I would answer that. When I put the gold chart up, I'll go back and look at that with you. So, you know, I guess these charts, you know, VIX, like I said, VIX is the implied volatility of the S&P 500 stock options. GVX is the implied volatility of gold options. And what implied volatility tells you simply is, you know, forward expectations of movement. In the case of the stock market, when you see VIX surge, the VIX is used as a way to hedge the S&P's downside, because the amount of funds that are piled into the S&P really don't have the liquidity to exit together. There's no one to buy the funds exit. So rather than, you know, come out of the S&P, it makes sense to actually hedge it with something like the VIX, which is inversely correlated to it, and you know, use that as a metric to basically get out of the market when crisis hits. So the VIX acts as like the blow off for the market instead of like them really dumping the market the way you think should happen. But generally, when you're looking at implied volatility skyrocket, it is telling you that the options that are tied to the asset are inflated. So they're implying greater forward volatility, which can be seen as a way to, you know, use the derivative to extrapolate the fear tied to speculators, because options work as a hedge. They work as insurance to protect you if you use them correctly. If you do things like delta neutralizing your positions and things like that, then the price you're willing to pay for insurance is going up when the implied volatility is going up. So it is a derivative that helps you capture people's forward expectations of movement. And in the case of the S&P, it extracts fear. It takes a qualitative, you know, emotion like fear and makes it quantitative. That's the best explanation I can give you. I don't actually have to show anything for that. I'll show you the GPX on the screen when I go over there real quick. But That's the best explanation I can give you. That doesn't complicate it too much. Alright, let's see. Thoughts on the next stimulus? Don't have too much. I have to see what they ultimately pass. You're going to speculate on what they're going to jockey for inside the Congress. They need to pass something until like the country can run on its own 2 feet. Everyone's not in a position to fucking go again and survive. There's way too many businesses that are still shuttered, so it's a need to have thing. What they will do, we have to see what that actually comes to. They're obviously going to make it a political hot button. Lord of Meow, thanks for buying some subs. Mr. Dor, respect the bits. Blocks, thanks for 10 subs. You guys getting free stuff every time you come to the show. Look at that. If they say we want to trade against them, if they say that we want to trade against them, well, not readily. So everyone wants to counter trade CNBC. And CNBC says X, I want to go hit the button Y. That's not necessarily as simplistic as it should be. Just like this show, right? You get information here. It doesn't mean Cass said FedEx, smash FedEx. This isn't like investment advice. This is to add to your overall perspective, shit that you might not think about, that should factor into your overall decision making, whatever your plan is, whatever you're trading. CNBC, if you understand what the fundamentals are behind what I just told you about value and what comes out of that portal, then it's a piece of information for you not to take and put to your overall collection of information and make a better choice. There's no formal one single thing, because you could be missing all kinds of other details that give that better perspective. Always remember, new dumb money makes old dumb money look relatively smarter. That's one of the things that catches people when they want to see Robinhood lose. Robinhood might not always be the dumbest money you see. And at times, there are going to be times that CNBC will be quite right. So you have to be careful when those rotations happen, because you get murdered with that simplistic idea that I'll do the opposite of what that station says. All right, I'm way too wide awake on this call. Let's see. All right. Yeah, there you go. Sauce just said exactly what I said. Exactly. He trades with me, renegades. Yeah, don't just formal a single thing like that. Don't formal one dumb guy on Twitter. Like, have a well thought out idea every single time. Do candle closes provide any significant level of interest? You have to remember something about, so candlestick theory is a very dangerous theory. Where did it go? So before I do the candlestick thing, somebody asked me the GVX, just to show you what that looks like. Chill out, bro. GVX. So GVX is the gold volatility. It's the VIX of gold. And if many of you didn't know, there was actually other VIXs. Yeah, there's VIX for many things. We talk about the VIX because obviously it is for the S&P, the biggest basket of assets and stuff. So it pretty much marks the fear and risk assets around the planet. You can even see it's the correlation with BTC and S&P means that the VIX actually represents a lot more than just the S&P. But this is VIX for gold, and so you see like this massive spike, and when that happened there in March, which is the COVID spike, and he's coming down from similar things. So the implied volatility for lots of assets went crazy because forward expectations went crazy with COVID, and that's what you're seeing here. But this is the VIX is like normal behavior for the last like 4 years, and then you see how ridiculous COVID is. If we zoom out, I don't think this thing goes back to the banking crisis. Let me see. Nah, I didn't think so. So the last time gold was all-time high was where? Was it August 2011? Right, and then he came down from that in that month. So you have this crazy ass spike right now in your all-time highs again with a relatively higher VIX, a VIX that's kind of high, that's in like the correction territory of gold. But for right now, this kind of more reflects the uncertainties going forward to the election that we still have with COVID. And it's the same reason the VIX that we have in the stock market is taking its sweet ass time to bleed its own way back down. And he's still working his way down. 24.3. I told you that Leon FOMO level, that was a swing level to let us go fucking crazy. Leon knows. He knew. He kept the secret all to himself. Didn't want to share it with nobody. Why are you keeping secrets, Leon? You have crazy stuff, right? You bet you guys didn't know you had things like this. VIX Apple. Right? You have VIXs on individual stocks. It's not just the S&P. That's just the one that's been popularized ever since the VIX Mageddon show. Now everybody's a VIX expert. But there is volatility, implied volatility indexes for many just individual stocks, let alone just gold and things like oil and such. So, all right. Let me get back to your questions. What else you got? Lost track here. Oh, candle closes. I'll do the candle closes thing for you in just a second. If you have 100,000 target, what do you think the Nasdaq can reach a 2030 VIX again time frame? I'll have to work that out and give it to you. I don't have an exact number on him. I have the target based on the Dow itself. So the NAS is likely going to outperform him as you're going to be more tech centric going into space crash. I'd have to kind of sit down and work out how much outperformance I think you do for the time frame to give you an exact estimate on that. Not positive. The Dow is kind of what I'm tracking the 100-year move by, and to a lesser degree the S&P. Let's see. Okay. Can Tesla roll over making second fractal while broader market is moving up? Yeah, he can be out of phase with the market. He's massively front run the shit out of the market. His performance is ridiculous. You can really see a lot of assets in the market reprice on Tesla. That's kind of what you see a lot of times. You see one stock go flying and nobody else is moving, then either that stock's telling a lie or the rest of the basket is fucking mispriced relative to the stock that's outperforming. So with Tesla going fucking apeshit the way he did, he either reflects a mispricing in himself versus many other assets that share a relationship with him valuation wise, and he's either going to go chase them or they're going to come chase him. Right now, watching a lot of the antisocial guys blow the fuck out and stuff like that, it stands to reason that most people are mispricing the market to the upside, which is why we're staying bullish through this period, looking at the liquidity, understanding the price of assets are being repriced with the added liquidity, and most people are looking for the market to correct like Armageddon. It looks like most people are mispricing this thing on the downside. So Tesla, to me, may have just front run a lot of other people, which is why we see so many other guys going fucking apeshit while most people are completely befuddled by it. Haven't forgot the candle close question. We'll get back on the chart and tell you that in a second. What do you think about Sonos? Don't have any thoughts to tell you anything about Sonos, so I'd be bullshitting if I did. I can pull it up though and take a look. Mr. Doors. Alright. Morning. What do you think about Roku? Looks interesting on a daily. Alright. Let's see here. What did you just ask me about? Sonos? Let's see what that guy is. I know it is. Fucking off the top of my head, not thinking right now. Electronic technology, electronic production equipment. But so we'll answer the candle close question of this right here. Chat. Okay. Oh, right. Let's see. So what do you see there, right? We talk about this when we talked about FedEx and UPS. So, stop. Big old volume on the monthly. It's obviously too high resolution. He's got the same COVID pump everybody's got. And where is he stuck right now? He's got that insane reversal wick. What's that at? That's the COVID spike. He wicked and then fucking recoiled. So he's doing a thing, right? The weekly high, he's chopping that right now. Needs a reset before you can go through it. Go down to a lower res on this dude. He's up 2% pre-market, nothing crazy. And he's flagging off of that. I mean, just wait for him to figure out a bull flag on that, see if he resolves to the upside or not. He needs a minute. But pretty easy to see what he's doing. Dude, what's up with this crazy thing? Most accurate, what's it called? Somebody said a Sharpie pen? Something, not exactly. But yeah, he's basically doing that. He's showing he's a minute, right? He's had a ridiculous pump without much of a break. But he looks like he could be structuring something along the lines of like what he did here. So, see if he turns up through that. But he's doing what he normally does, catching people who FOMO the break of a very obvious level, and then chopping them up, and then you'll see if he comes back out to reemerge and continue his trend structure. If the market stays healthy, then he's got a good chance, just the way he looks now. Closed candles, right? So somebody's asking, right, do candle closes mean anything? You have to think about it, right? If you're looking at it like Sonos, the daily candle close is obviously going to be marked by a shit ton of volume in the session. But what about a 30-minute candle close? All these different candle closes. Sorry, I have all these colorful bars on. Let's turn those off real quick. So the closing point of a bar is really, in a candle, is really specific to the mechanical time frame that you've locked the chart into, right? That closing point changes with the time frame changing. Only the open and close of the day session don't do that. But if you keep changing this time frame and you say, hey, I think this, this closing point right here is like everything. And I go down to like a fucking 5-minute chart to look where that is, and don't get me wrong, I marked a significant close. But, that's what you get, right? A close only means as much as it does in the time frame that you're dealing with it when it regards candlesticks. Same thing with wicks. People are like, oh man, wicks you got to cut those out, right? Well, what's a wick in a different time frame? It's not what you think, right? Let's go into something crazy. What's that? That's at 30 minutes. So we'll go down to like, in intraday, sometimes I scalp sub a minute. And price is fractal. We know that. So we go back here. Oh my God, that was such a terrible idea to put this thing on 30 seconds and scroll over. Okay. Right, that wick that you couldn't see anything is an opening, dump, and a recoil through the opening. That's totally viable if you're fast enough with huge volume. Alright, so it's the opening gap down and reversal through it. And then a retest to that actual reversal. You don't see that detail, and you can say, well, the wicks don't matter. Wicks have information in it, just at a different resolution. So what you call a wick in one time frame is as a price structure in another. What you worry about as a close on one candle in one time frame is a totally different point in a different time frame. So the end of the days and the locations where volume is matters, not the just arbitrary location of your selective time frame increment for your candles. Candles of themselves are meaningless, right? It's about what's captured within them that you can never overlook. Same thing we talk about when we draw, structures around shockwaves. The lines that we draw don't mean as much as the structure that we're trying to outline with it, right? When I draw kind of crude like stuff like this, I'm watching this guy, but I have like structures that I understand about how he falls technically that are of concern to me depending on when he's going to violate and flip around and blow through this thing. And you see right here, he flips out of that level and then he retests, right? He kills a downtrend within the bull flag and then retests that. So I care about the wave structure of price, and I only use some of these lines to outline the structure itself. The structure matters more than anything else. When you're drawing trend lines, you draw them technically sound to the rules that I told you. If you're drawing an uptrend, you connect the lowest low to the next highest low without passing through prices that generates the high, right? I know that's not the fucking line used for a trend line, but you get the idea. And downtrend's the opposite we spoke about earlier. When I'm drawing around a shockwave, right, there is no rule of thumb in connecting the low points of a bull flag the way I gave you for trend lines. We're really just doing this to kind of denote the shape of the shockwave itself and location of this bull flag. All right, that was really dorky. Man, I'm wired this morning. I should have blazed something. Okay, there that is. All right. Where we at? Time-wise, where we at? 8:40. I got time still, so we can look at some other stuff. All right. I'm catching up again. Roku, I'll try to throw that on there. All right, let's see. Head and Shoulders in shampoo for crypto beats. That's great. Alright, we're at. Don't have many thoughts on private equity guys like Blackstone. Can Bitcoin go back to the shockwave trend line? Also, can alts go back to their previous bottoms after breaking previous highs? Can do whatever they want. I mean, that question's kind of open-ended. I'll take a look at crypto in a minute. We'll finish the stocks and see if we can get to that before I check out. Yes, that light's from the logo. Yes, protoplasmic dog shit is a technical term. Value is truly scarce and costs for everyone to have it. Please don't ask about shampoo patterns now. Is there a VIX chart for crypto or just BTC? I think just right now just BTC has a VIX chart. The VIX is derived from a calculation. It's basically reverse engineering the premium of options to give you an idea of what the forward expectations of volatility are. So the VIX is a derivative of option premiums on the S&P. Yeah, I just told you that. Like a whole lot, like really in depth. Blocks. Thank you for the subs blocks. Okay, I'm catching up. Almost back. I gotta keep talking or this is gonna get dry, so I gotta catch up to what you guys ask me next stuff. Let's see. Leon always knows. Keeping secrets, Leon. We're watching you. You say anything can and will be used against the market. Does the gold VIX work the same as stocks? Not exactly. Stocks, it almost seems like mirror image inverse. It's not quite the same. You can't use the gold VIX the way you'd use like the VIX to kind of like check levels and stuff on stocks. It won't work the same. It's there's different ways to use different VIXs. I'll leave it at that. Airlines, pretty much dead money, but we can take a peek again. What do you think about the future of trading with artificial intelligence growing? Do you think we will have computers who will trade better than humans? There are already computers that trade better than humans, right? I mean, Goldman Sachs and some of these guys, was it JP Morgan, made headlines for having a 4-year period where they only had 2 losing days in 4 fucking calendar years. Yeah, they already been doing that. That's already been a thing. But, a lot of people, there's a lot of guys that would be trading mentors and some of these guys who try to use algorithmic trading and bots and all that to scare you like the little guy has no chance. The little guy has no chance. One of the things you look at, like prices are fractal, and any computer you stick in the market is chasing around what? Humans. So it's kind of ridiculous. When you look back at markets, right, we look back, where'd you go? So we look back at like something like the Dow Jones across, I'll even give you one better. Think about the Litecoin winter chart, right? It was side-by-side Qualcomm and LTC. I don't think I can set that up right now because I have to have a certain layout for that. Let's go out to like monthlies. I've been in the market 20 years. Before like algorithmic trading, HFT was a thing, right? HFT didn't really arrive till like 2006. And the behavior of the market isn't really different. There are things that are faster in it. That's absolutely true. But you have to understand that the price structure that I show you, right, it's fractal. It looks the same from fucking 1930s till fucking today. If I even put you in a graph in the 1930s, you couldn't tell me that market has algorithmic trading in it any more than you can tell me the one today does. Ultimately, the computer's only chasing us around. And so they only exacerbate human behaviors anyway. That's why the market doesn't look any different, and we can use fractals from a time period that has nothing to do with today, right? I'm using Black Monday from '87 where there's no computer in the fucking market. They got monochrome monitors and shit, and they actually print out fucking tape. And I'm using that to call market full of computers today. Nobody recognizes that. That's kind of crazy. If there was such a drastic difference in the behavior of the market, how do you think that, okay, that looks crazy. How do you think that would be possible? I hear people say it all the time, and it's really just an excuse. Am I crazy? Where'd it go? Hide that thing. Why wouldn't it pick up this fucking crazy ass? Hide it. Yeah, I use price structures from time periods where there are no computers to call stuff, and time periods there are computers. There's only one person being fed upon, right? The algorithms aren't set upon themselves. They're coming after you. And if you still have the same human emotions you always did, you're going to react the same as you always did everywhere. So nothing will change, right? The market is a graph of human behavior over time. Unless humans are different today than they were 100 years ago, this should look just alike. And it does. Let's see next. Alright, you guys got a million questions. I'm going to have to look at some stuff so I can just get some new ideas going here. We're going to run out of time just reviewing, but let's see. Any thoughts on Sean? I'll have to pull that one and check. Yeah, GDP, like I said, right? GDP came down, 32% and was expected 34%, but what did it do? It reduced expectations. And that's what the market is based on, like, our expectations, our beliefs, and how far away they are from like reality. I think right now, going forward, yeah, you're gonna have a beleaguered GDP, but the whole world does too. And that's one of the things you can't do is look at the United States in a vacuum. You can't look at the US dollar in a vacuum. You have to look at it relatively. So is there anybody who's come out of this like fucking gangbusters on the scale of the United States that replaces us in the world economy? No. Everyone is hurt about the same or even worse than us. So relatively speaking, we maintain the same fucking position because the whole world took a shit relatively with us. That's kind of the thing that's missing a lot when people look at prices. They can talk about them absolutely, and markets aren't like that. Markets are relative. Consumer staples, we talked about that. I don't have anything new to add to that one, but we'll see if we can get there. I see all these retail traders making a killing off trading. What does that mean? It means they're doing a good job trading. What kind of question is that? I see a lot of retail traders making a killing off trading. Great. It means they're making money. I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? Subs are good for you guys to rewatch stuff. Stuff lasts 14 days on here. Make sure to check it out. No problem. Ashworn on candles. Cryptolaris, shout out on the bits, homie. Take a look at Autodesk. We can do that. Okay, let's see. Let me get this thing off logarithmic. What's the other one you get? Somebody asked me this crazy symbol, Shump. Let me see if I have it. Yes. I don't know what that symbol was, but it's not coming up for me. Hey, Autodesk. Oh, yep, it looks ridiculous. What, 3 months? Oh, okay. I'm gonna change this over. So let me check if anything else you guys ask me quick. So let's see. Yeah, retail traders making money. What do you think all the dudes in my chat are doing? What do you think they'll show for all crazy? They make lots of money. Snapchat. You said if you found value. Highlighted question. Look at this guy. Question: what about draw trend lines on line chart? If you switch from candles to line, wicks are cutted or cut. If it follows trend line on a line chart, is it pointless because there is more information with the candles? The line chart is effectively reducing your candlestick chart to the closing points of the candlestick. And so if you draw a trend line on the closes, you're leaving out the information of the day session that's captured in the candle. When you're drawing trend lines across the extremes and the highs that connect, a lot of these falling structures or rising structures, you're capturing the extremes that like basically are a huge sentiment shifts in the marketplace. You're missing that when your graphing just closes. So, more information is always better. But all parts of the price discovery are important if you want to have an accurate picture of what you're doing technically. So I have Autodesk up here. Somebody asked for Adobe. Let's take a look at some of these spaces look like. Can you take a look at Adobe? Yes. Thoughts on the banking sector? Man, you motherfuckers are bombing me. Alright, yeah, we can look at all these spaces. This is why I do this. So let's go look at Autodesk. What was the one you said? Autodesk and then what? Adobe, Autodesk, and then banking sector. Alright. Am I retarded? The chart was up the whole time. I didn't know that. Okay. So there's Autodesk. Zoom out on him a little bit, see what he's doing since he's so clear of that fucking COVID high. He's real clear. Wow, he's up there. So he's got a local system that's pretty easy to identify, right? This shopware is kind of sitting out here. So trend-wise, that's the last low that generates the highs he's put in, and now he's kind of just dicking off, within this range. You just want to see him exit that away. If he kills structure, if he dumps down and takes this out, then you want to see him do something like this and create a bull flag like that, stop everybody out under that last low, and then come back through it again anyway. Either one of these setups would be okay. What the hell? Hang on. Let's get a different color. Too much purple. So if he came out of this and he didn't fucking come out of there, you want to see him like knock everybody out there and then come back through this motherfucker and then like, you know, go that way. So either he leaves fucking now and holds the floor, kind of like BTC did, or he dips down and stop runs and shit out, but then comes back through it, and that would look pretty good. I don't know if you want to see him reach it all the way back to this high. The market would probably be in a corrective setup. If that actually came down that deep, it'd probably take something pretty serious to bring him down. But if he holds this range and moves out, you know, technical structure looks pretty good, as high up as he seems to be. But he needs time. What am I missing here? Something's not showing. There we go. So either one of those paths, right, straight out. If he comes down and sustains underneath this low, then that would be very bad. So those are only real possibilities he has looking at it, but overall with the market structure and stuff, he looks, you know, looks pretty decent. This would be path C if he was to sustain under there. So those are the possibilities for that guy that I see right now. Software and stuff like package software does actually, you know, still strong. Technology is strong right now, even with the market being kind of like struggling upwards. Generally, we've been blowing off risk. You've seen tech still show some strength, which is pretty interesting. Adobe was the other one somebody just said. Probably looks, probably structurally in software, he's going to resemble that guy in package software. Same thing. He's holding kind of a similar level. So you see that same thing we just marked, that low level? That needs to not give itself up right there. What the fuck? Here's my fucking marker. Son of a bitch. Ridiculous free hand. You see that shit? Unbelievable. And he's got the same kind of deal going on in his fucking Autodesk, right? So that's what we're watching. Could he dip through here? Fuck everybody up? Yeah, he could totally do that and come back across, or he could fucking just, you know, roll off if he does that. But you're waiting for him to basically go that way and get clear of this structure one way or the other. So package software looks like most of them are kind of coiling up right now. Not really ready to do shit just yet until they start to leave. But with the kind of movements that you see in fucking Apple and some of those guys, like they're going to draw a lot of these other tech guys, you know, upwards anyways, even if they're not the best of breed at the moment. 439, opening at 443. He's up on the angle of it, so he's not out of there yet. But these guys are getting close to being worth watching, you know, just like semis were coiled up before. Check our semiconductor group right there. He's at the top, pre-market. He's up a little bit more, and that's the structure we showed you to watch. And this kind of looks almost like software, right? Coiled up, sitting really high without really making any new lows. Can still push right back out. So as a group, semi's good. We see how we check the high, flag through it, fuck everybody up, then leave and fucking pump. So when you see stuff chopping highs, like be patient. You know, when you see stuff come through a high, be patient. If it comes back through, just wait again. Let it set up again. You don't have to rush shit. So as it will be that. Somebody had asked me at the beginning of the show about USD franc, and I forgot to cover that. I don't generally like to go back and forth to currencies, but alright, this guy blew out the level. I've got a big old box range I drew in there for a reason, so let's see what that was for. That was likely a low range we wanted to keep track of. Right, that's about the range of like where I think you care about for the range to be before the dollar gets really loose going off a cliff. So that's the wick set here back in 2015. There was a big dump in the summer in 2015. Oh my god, stop moving. That's May, August 2015. It was a big dump, and the dollar caught some strength, came off of that. So I like this range. This is probably a pretty good level to watch, like where that is right now to see. What's it doing? Okay. So just a box, you can't tell where it is, but I'll show you. Probably right where he is, a good level to watch is the swing level to see if like the USD chops that up, like the way highs we see going through. If he does, if he stalls on that, then the DXY probably is in a place he could stall too. So let's see if he matches anywhere else. Right, pretty cool. Perfect. They're both on the exact spot of the same box range. Pretty neat, huh? So that should be true in a couple places then. So the dollar's there, dangerous spot. If he bounces, that big gap on the on Apple would then, bounce here, and Apple failing the gap would be like slight risk off, and he'd push risk assets down, and we'd see a market kind of trace back. So that's worth keeping an eye on both of them simultaneously. So let's see where the euro version of this is. Thank God we went back and looked at the Swiss franc. That's definitely important. Cool. There's the other key zone that we had on him. All three in the exact same location across market. So that tells us that our zone has got significance, right? It shows up in all parts of the basket simultaneously. So if you've graphed your areas correctly, that should happen like voodoo. It's not voodoo, it's just that the locations are correct across the basket. So this is the monthly level. We looked at him. I know what I bracketed that zone by in the past. So you're in a place that's stall-worthy. It's at least, confluence of levels across the dollar basket. That's worth noting. If the dollar stalls right here and catches strength on any of these guys, then he's going to catch strength in other places, which means he'll probably fucking slow down gold a little bit. See what gold's doing pre-market. So gold's out retarded, and gold's just now blowing his all-time high out. Remember what we said about how prices go through all-time highs. He's either going to blow that and stay fucking gone and just go crazy, or he's going to chop it and fuck people up. So the currency world, you're in a pretty crazy place, and gold's the outlier. Ivy, you're totally falling through my shit. Oh my god. Fucking cat is something else when I'm doing this show, bro. She's like so fucking crazy here. Are you alright? You just sneeze? Gross. Nothing like some pussy on your shoulder for get your focus. Alright, so gold's out the top of that bad boy. We want to watch and see if he comes back to check it. But this is what we told you would happen with gold, right? We think 2400 is a good spot for him to chill. But he's gone up through that high level we told you to pay attention to. We marked that. And I think I did that on a lower time scale. Right, so we watched him, he chopped the level, he chopped that high, and then he broke back up, and then told you to pay attention to this, and so he's moved up. But you want to pay attention to those other dollar crosses. If they stall in the other markets, it'll at least put pressure. Even if gold is outperforming and keeps managing to sustain its uptrend, if the dollar catches strength, it'll make gold shake your trade to take this late in the stage, or it'll chop you up. That much strength, we told you to keep an eye on him. If that commodity is doing that kind of crazy shit, ow, your claws really fucking hurt. Ouch, ouch. Oh my god. Ow, fuck. Thank you. Oh, you're killing me, cat. So, here we had gold miners that you should keep an eye on still. They have a decent pullback while gold's still pressing. So, probably some guys to be on your radar still. As long as gold keeps this shit up, it's good for them. And we see the flag back in miners right there. Obviously, have an alert set there for some reason. And this would be the same thing, right? Another bull flag in the series of, oops, that's not what I had. Alright, so let's see, let's say just marking the shape of him, see what he does. It's 42.59 right now, so he's still inside the structure. He's not out of it yet. But gold miners, you can check out. There's a bunch of them out there, silver miners and stuff like that. These guys have all been pretty strong. GFI should all structurally look kind of like his basket guy. Up 2% this morning with gold going crazy. They've done a corrective move, but he's just doing a gap fill, and structurally still strong as piss. So a lot of these guys look pretty good or in trend. You just need them to, correct out of these deep pullbacks they have. These are going to probably be better viewed like on a lower scale of time anyway. 13, 18. He's still not really turned up yet. But as long as gold keeps doing that shit, if gold corrects today, then it could put pressure on these guys. So just be careful of that. Like I said, watch the dollar in all those locations I just showed you. He's in a pretty key area across enough places to be definitely on your radar for the session. If the dollar corrects, then he likely sends the VIX upwards. So a couple of things to pay attention to. The VIX is holding a major base here. Okay, so that low from somewhere else. So it's between Leon and a low that's back here. Let's see. He's gonna get sick of hearing his name in this show. He's like, God fucking damn it! I'm just trying to get some market intel, and this motherfucker has me stapled to a chart. Alright, so that's a level he's stuck to. So VIX needs to come through that level for us to really continue our way towards 21. And that's where, what? Alright, so VIX needs to get through that. 23.6 is holding it for now. And you're trapped, between what Leon, that was supposed to be Leon knows. I know it's called Leon FOMO. I think I named it twice. Whatever. Sounds good as Leon knows. But we're trapped between what Leon knows and the lows of fucking June. So we have to watch how this goes. Once you get below here, that should be another chance for us to push even higher in the market. But if there's holes and we have any upside movement right now in the VIX, dollar stall where he is, could see the market take a slight breather. Doesn't mean it can't come back and push again here on Friday and goes to the weekend something crazy. But be careful in the opening. The opening looks like it's got a gap that's pretty dangerous. But that being said, these guys are all in interesting places, and the fade of the VIX continues, So, key swing level to watch, key swing levels on the dollar to watch, all look pretty good. Beyond that, the country is opening, and forcibly so. So you've seen like real strength in these guys, right? Specialty retailers. These guys in XRT, which is where Shopify and some of those guys are, structurally look great. What's more interesting is that even guys who you would think the brick and mortar guys are losers to the specialty retail, things like fucking Gap are starting to show signs of life. And this is kind of signs that like the brick and mortar guys, they are forcibly returning to normal. But you can see these low shockwaves that have been basically not moving, just sitting there dying, are starting to show fucking crazy signs of life. So I've been looking through a couple of these yesterday and seeing that they are actually stepping up and actually getting slightly stronger. So see if that continues on. Banking looks a lot like guys like that. Sorry, I meant to show you another one. Today, Jackson. Banking's still trapped in the same shockwave, right? It hasn't begun to step out of it. But we're watching this and we see it's compressed. So, you're kind of letting it finish off the shockwave. Movement is likely imminent as the volume dries up in it. Other stuff we saw here, like look, this is Limited Brands, Victoria's Secret. Alright, there is stuff popping in places that you don't expect. I believe these guys got some kind of like investment round into them though. But there is stuff popping in regular retail brick and mortar that is worth looking at. Ross Stores, and these guys are always good back to school guys. So you see some of them turning, haven't gained full strength yet, but these are just signs that the market is, and these guys are starting to show signs of life. That's actually a sign that like you're returning towards a normal once they really turn up, but they're not really there yet. You're just starting to see signs in some parts of it. Beyond that, let's see. All right, I'm probably out of time now, right? 9:04. Yep, I'm out of time now. That's a lot. All right, let's see. Did you guys get all that? That was like a lot. Is there any value in Fibonacci levels? Absolutely. Everything in the universe is Fibonacci. What's your morning routine like to get ready for trading? Right now, sitting here talking to all of you, looking over all the sectors that your eyeballs are talking about, seeing things that I see with you right here, and the extrapolations I make with you. This is the first part of what I do. The next part is I talk with my trading team and I go over some more in-depth stuff that's a little bit more detailed than this to get us aimed at the right things. If you cut wicks, you cut info, right? What up, Drew? Thanks for the bits, homie. Hey, baby. Humans still the same in markets, right? What TV shows do I watch? Is this a personal interview? I don't know. I don't watch that much TV. Family Guy, Hannibal, anything that's fascinating like that. Lots of cartoons if I have free time. DC animated cartoons, things like that. I like comics. You haven't figured that out yet? I love comics. I did look at EURUSD, got that. Donate. Okay, let's see. Catching up. Thanks for throwing out some subs, Snow Ripper. Oh, Shanghai comp. Okay, I was like, what is that? I don't think I'm gonna get time to go to China right now. I'll probably come back to the next show. Microsoft looking like a bull flag, and pre-market looks like it broke. Well, yeah, Microsoft's in the basket with Fang. So with three Fangs doing really well this morning, he's gonna get dragged up by him. But he's correlated with software, and so software like isn't looking like the strength just yet. If semis rotate out of being the strength, you might see software take their place. So you want to see broad-based software strength really for Microsoft, because there probably will be somebody else better to play within that basket. If Amazon and those other sides are leading social or retail. All right, let's see. What settings do I use for moving average? It's a 60-period average. Nothing special, just what I like. Don't get caught up in the average. Pay attention to the price. All I use the average for is a guide and directionality. Doesn't matter. Jazz, thanks for the subs. QZ does appreciate the bits. Appreciate you guys. Do you normally start with currencies? I look at everything. I look at every asset class all at once. Doesn't matter. I look at crypto. I look at everything. All things are connected, so it's all informational. The more stuff you ask about, the more information we have about everything. Like you saw how currencies were, across the basket connected, and likely gives us inferences into commodities that obviously have the dollar in it. So the more information you have is the more complete a picture you have. Let's see. Tiki, thanks for the bits, homie. What was the indicator represented by the line that shifts between green and red? What? You talking about the moving average again? Sunseiko, thanks for the bits. You guys are silly. Bit wars, price discovery, okay. Yes, I did have pussy on my show. Let's see. And okay. No, I'll see if I can pull it out. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the chat and catch up. I have like ADD. I gotta see what everyone asks so I really don't miss anything. It changes color for my own psychology. That's all it's for. It's nothing magic. The price comes first. It's just something to try and tell you if it's green, you don't look to short. If it's red, you don't look to buy. Yeah, Leon, you're famous. You're screwed, bro. Not grandfather TA, motherfucker, godfather. Stop it. Crypto TA. It's not of TA. The technical analysis existed before me, but technical analysis in crypto shitcoins did not. Coming back to Wix, we're using all them highlighted points, which gives us such additional information. Obvious there was a lot of volume. Liquidity, closed, stop losses. How can I use this information in the future? In the short term, there are no positions there, and if the price gets there, it will fly further. I mean, there's no one thing you need to use here specifically to make a trade. You just have to understand that when you're doing your technical analysis, you don't leave Wix out, as it contains data, about, that is key to your price discovery and your technical patterns and the geometry of your chart. So you can't leave that out. But beyond that, you're looking to understand a whole lot more than any one little aspect here and put it together. In the long term, it means that there was strong support. Good place for a target. I think you're trying to read too much into it, right? All I'm saying about Wix is that it's data that you can't leave out, and it changes the geometry of what you put on the chart. And at those extremes, likely if they're climactic spikes, they are just like any other crash cycle. There's huge amounts of emotion there, so there are points and change of directions that are worth noting. And if they're the tops and bottoms of the wave structure that you see, they're going to be key to actually trending, the trend lines of the wave structure being drawn correctly to know when your trends fail. Your highs and lows are generally generated with climactic moves, so not the greatest amount of volume necessarily in the climax, usually after in the complacency, but the fact is that if you're going to draw correct price structures, you cannot leave out the wicks, especially when you think about what is a monthly chart. If you take a monthly candle and cut the wick off of it, you realize what you could have cut off on the hourly? Cut off like seas of information, and say a monthly wick is fucking 20 trading days in the stock market. You're going to cut that off? And no one accounts for this. Whether it be a 30-minute wick or a monthly wick, it's an insane amount of information at the extremes of price that you definitely don't want to lose if you want to have like an accurate analysis of what you're looking at. Let's see. Can volume be used as a good divergence signal? I don't use it that way. I don't know anybody that does, but I don't use it that way. Berger and I have a special Ross Burger, not Gerber, but Ross Burger. We have a special called the MACD. MACD special. It's on my YouTube. It's public. I'm one half of it explaining the indicator. Burger's the other half showing you how to code and create it. And in that special, we explain to you exactly what indicators do, what you're using to pull out a price, and then understanding them at a nuanced level. Then you can use it to supplement your analysis. But they shouldn't override your analysis. Your analysis always starts with the price data, since this is where all your indicators are derived. Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can't miss it. If you try to look at all, you'll find it. It's not hard to find. The name MACD is in it. Yep, Burlington looks good too. A lot of like brick and mortar guys are starting to look good again. Alright, I think I caught up to everybody. I think I'm out of time too. Fool's Gold, thanks for the bitch, Chief. No more grandfather. That's ban worthy. I think ARK owning retirement accounts. Think about ETFs like ARK owning in retirement accounts. ARK is an extremely smart fund group. If you look at some of the stuff they've been holding, they fucking don't pick too badly. But I can't give you any more advice on that in retirement accounts. Again, all things require timing. Holy crap, somebody anonymous just bought a bunch of stuff. Izzy just gets a bunch of subs. You guys are getting a free sub bonanza today. Appreciate all y'all paying those subs. Hope you guys found this really insightful. We covered a lot of stuff to keep track of. Today, what we saw that we definitely need to have our eyes on is the dollar market. See how he handles the levels he's got across the basket. See if that affects gold. See if gold structure holds. Keep your eyes on the gaps on some of these big fangs that have huge earnings. See if they sustain it. Gold basket, is going to take a little time to come around. Package Software looks like he looks pretty interesting. We looked at home builders, so all those guys in the past shows are worth keeping your eyes on still. If the market keeps on making its way out, and we are slowly moving towards opening, and it's getting more obvious, and people come to the realization that this isn't going the other way, then they'll fully value it like they fully value the VIX, right? So for right now, technically the market doesn't look bad, even though it's a little squirrely with where the VIX is. That VIX level we looked at is pretty key. It needs to dump out for us to really have a chance to go bull again. So was it 2620? What level was that? 2360? Let me get it. Forgot already. There we go. I think it's 2360. Don't worry, I'll let you know what it is. Yeah, 2360. So fades that, we get to head for that gap from COVID and see if the VIX is going to make its way to 21 eventually here. But it's still bleeding off, and the market is repriced, amazingly, and we're now seeing brick and mortar starting to show some life to it. Banks are still lagging. I know somebody asked about airlines. Airlines are also still lagging. They're not really where you want to see them yet. Boeing is still weak as shit. So keep your eyes on those. I think airlines will be probably one of the last signs that we're coming back to normal to show itself. Like that industry is hard to make money to begin with, and any kind of like headwind to it is just disastrous to the players in the space. So I think don't chase the laggard, play strength, but obviously be aware when they start to show strength and rotations might come to that side of the market. For now, industrials aren't really leading it. If tech gives it up today, you might see industrial strength replace it, and financials. There tends to be that rotation between tech, industrial, and financials. So if Apple phases gap or any of that stuff, we could watch that. But also if the VIX catches real strength, that you might just blow risk off the whole market. So that's kind of what we're watching today. See how this all pans out. So it's Friday. Anybody who had really killer runs, any of you that did some amazing shit with some of these gaps on the fangs that you got lucky, or you actually tactically played it, congrats. Don't give it back. I saw a lot of huge wins. You tend to lax out your habits and get fucked up directly after doing that. Don't do that. Pay attention to what you're doing. Take some props off the table. Leave a free roll if maybe, but don't leave yourself in into the weekend if you've got something ridiculous and get overconfident and fuck yourselves up. So goal is to lose a little and make a lot, and maintain that over time. Hope everybody learned something today. Got your eyes on some new things. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for coming out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics.